Thank you so much. So, I will start. Obviously, you're just, if people don't know, your role as a production designer is dealing with everything that's in front of the camera, essentially, that isn't the actors, I'd say. Maybe not costume, but you've got
not costumes.
so all the environments, and all the spaces.
We align with special effects, we align with video effects, we arrange, we help with locations, we help with mood, atmosphere, everything, colour palette, it works across every department is all in line with.
So how do you work with Bryn before the director?
No.
So how did you get involved with the film?
So I have been a huge fan of Spectrovision for years.
Okay, yeah.
And I think it was just this manifestation of sort of serendipity that I just got sent a script, and it was through no rhyme or reason that it came to me. And then I had 2.5 months of interviews with Bryn, going through the process, going through the character design, going through the tone, the mood, how we could do the special effects, how we could make budget work, who we could bring them to the project. It was, I guess, very early days at that point. So.
Where did you shoot it?
Yorkshire.
And was it always going to be?
No, originally it was going to be Builds in London,
oh, really?
and then it was going to be, God, so many places: Scotland, Wales, and then it ended up not being Wales because you can't smoke in a work environment. And then there were so many moments where they were smoking. That's kind of where the otherworldly part kind of comes in, is like when they're taking mushrooms or when they're smoking spliffs, and it was kind of that integral part of the film that we felt that we couldn't lose, because that's when you're like, is this reality or is this another worldly presence that's coming into play? So to lose that physicality of that element would have, so we couldn't then film in Wales because we had to have smoking in the film. So that was why we ended up in
You're smoking Yorkshire anytime you like.
It was a bizarre kind of turn of events because we recce'd Wales, Snowdonia, for all the it was beautiful. We wanted to get there, but and of course, like the Twrdd Teg and the folklore and everything is based on Wales. Bryn is from Wales originally, so. But then Yorkshire kind of fell into place with everything that worked that we wanted.
It looks incredible. I mean, it's beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess the interiors, for instance, in the house, which are featured for a lot of the film, was that all done on location? Was that?
It was one location, and it was actually the last house that we looked at after months and months and months. And when we turned up, there was this giant hair in the driveway.
That's a good sign.
Both Bryn and I, we were like I'd never seen a hair before, and they're ginormous, absolutely gigantic. And we were like, okay, this is a sign. So we walked into the house, and it was completely abandoned. And there was one gentleman that had lived there his whole life from like the 1920s. And he had passed away, and the house had kind of gone into dilapidation to a point. But it was just this solitary. It was perfect because
those kind of
because the texture was there. Like there was so much that was already there that we could just build on. But it was all wallpapered. It was like very much like we peel back layers and layers and layers of his world, like his life. There was just like layers of 80s wallpaper, layers of 70s wallpaper, down to the 50s. It was, and then we just seen it painted the whole location, like it was like the mirror from film, because we wanted everything, all the bleakness, even the empty spaces. We wanted it to have texture and feeling, and to have like an essence of the other.
You mentioned Tarkovsky, so I'm wondering what were your influences with the design?
Oh God, everything.
I imagine Bryn had stuff that he brought to the table on that as well.
We deep delved with about 1,000 things. I don't even know where to start with that. Yeah, it
does remind me, and Steve was saying before, of certain films from the 70s that had the same kind of atmosphere and vibe. I mean, I presume it's quite deliberate.
Yeah, I mean, so we based we needed the music equipment to be period correct. The film was about sound, so Daphne Studios, so everything was about the radiophonic workshop, about female pioneers in electronic music. It was about Daphne Ram, about Delia Derbyshire. So we needed to make it real. Everything had to be real because all the music equipment had to work in line with what Lucretia Dalt is going to make as the composition for the soundtrack of the film, and then also what Graham Resnick was going to do with the sound design afterwards. So Rosie came into the studio and I worked with Sam, who runs the Museum of Not Obsolete in Ramsgate, which if you have not been there.
The Museum of Obsolete?
Museum of Not Obsolete.
Not, okay.
So he runs like analog music.
Oh, okay.
It's like a museum. So Sam and I worked very closely together, and he was very much my kind of oracle of knowledge to my analog. Just making sure that everything was correct. So the Nagra that we filmed, or the film recordings with, was actually from 1976. So we had to base the film from 1976 onwards.
Wow.
But that would have been like state-of-the-art equipment at that point. So, and the one previous to that was, I think, the 1960s. But we wanted, so there was a lot of discussion around a lot of the music equipment.
Having lived in that age, I miss that analog.
Me too.
I
I'm
love
a
it.
complete music nerd, so this was like the most perfect film for me. So it was good to explore that side.
But later on in the film, when those environments changed and like the magical world and the exterior kind of starts to
Very
kind
tense.
of break into the interior of the house.
Yeah.
How did you approach that?
So, we had an incredible team of scenic artists, but it was like months of prep of how to. I studied fine arts, so I come from quite a material kind of background of how to do things, I guess not cheaply, but like how to kind of make materials work for how they need to. So we were using just fabrics and latex and glues and like spray, like just really abstract things that you wouldn't think that would make this earthly presence work within.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, we had 2 days to install it and then had to so we had to build it in pieces, so we choreographed where we were going to see everything. And it was a big effort from the team. It was great.
It's a beautiful looking film. Has anybody got any questions?
Not too many.
Given the subject matter, was anyone cast the crew superstitious about filming in the fairy circle?
Yes, I was definitely. But we did make we 3D printed the mushrooms and things. So I think there's definitely superstitions from the whole film, different motifs and elements that we were very aware of. But this is why everybody took the film on this, because we are fascinated by fairy lore and things like that. So yeah, we were definitely very respectful and very aware of how we should approach it. But yes, I did not step inside the fairy ring. I don't know if those guys did you?
Great.
I think Kim did.
Graham Hill, please.
Roughly, what are the lyrics of the lullaby in English?
I do not know. I didn't. That was a lullaby that was written by a Welsh musician who worked with Jade. So I don't know the English translations.
Thank you. The gentleman in the person in the back there.
Yeah, were the plants that were growing on the brick wall outside the house real, or was that part of
Gorse. Oh, I've got many stories about gorse. Where do you find 50 metres of gorse to surround a house? No, it was real. And then as the days went on, I don't know if maybe I'm just going to give you the honest. So we had some farmers, Yorkshire farmers, and then they helped us build this whole fairy ring around the whole house. And then as the colour of the flowers faded, all of us had to individually spray paint each flower. So it was more yellow. It was those, I mean, if you work in film, you'll understand you go through those processes of making things visually work for the narrative. But yeah, we individually spray painted each and every flower on that gorse ring.
Thank you. I think we've probably just got time for one more, but if Lucy's well, you can do a signing and a little chat outside as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to chat to anyone else.
So, back in the back. Yep.
Not so much a question, but I'm born and raised in Wales.
Yeah.
I want to say masterpiece.
You can live in Wales. Amazing.
Trying to figure out where I can arrive in the areas in the film.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why Yorkshire worked, just because it's, I mean, architecturally, the building works, and obviously, like we ripped down lots of elements and we rebuilt stuff. So, and my neighbour, she grew up in Wales, so I did a lot of research about how her nan's house was when she grew up in the 70s. So there was a lot of background research to make sure the interior of the house worked. But yeah, the locations I think was there's similar kind of tangibilities.
Yeah, it was perfect. I haven't spoken about how it's set in the 70s, but that was just rural Wales to me.
Yeah. So no, a lot of people don't realise it's Yorkshire. Equally as beautiful.
Right, thank you very much, Lucy. I'm so glad we got pretty loud out of Yorkshire as well. As always, the table is just outside the